experiencing. And then you have to, basically follow the complaint procedure that the university would have. And, beyond any action that the university takes, then you could probably pursue legal action if it was warranted. But the first thing at the university level would be to pursue a complaint through their complaint process. And it would just depend on what the university is and what their procedures are, how that would work. But if you want, we could talk about it more afterwards.
My question was, when we go to the bank, what kind of activity they have to report to Homeland? When you buy money, you deposit money, you take money. Sometimes some people have large money, sometimes they check. Do you know what they have to report?
Well, do you want to take?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of it, but I do know that there are very, very complicated laws basically governing what banks have to report. But there are certain things that they do report, and I think it has to do with certain quantities of money, transactions to certain countries. I imagine Iran is probably one of those countries that they are scrutinizing more heavily. And there have been situations where, because of all the information sharing between agencies, the FBI, for example, has access to a lot of people's bank records because of the sharing that happens. If there's a particular thing that's happened that you want to talk about, you can also talk about that separately, and I can research the. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to. We also got a written question about if you've conveyed information if you've written a letter to a newspaper, if a newspaper can pass that along to government authorities. And there is something that is worth pointing out, is that we've seen a disturbing trend towards companies willingly sharing information with the United States government. So, I mean, there are two parts to your question. One is, what do they have to share with the government? And the other part is, what can they share with the government if they want to? I'm not sure that I completely know the answer to either one, but I did want to just point out that those are two separate questions, so that even if they're not required to report a particular transaction, they may be able to identify to the FBI that, somebody that they think has a pattern of suspicious activity. And certainly in the case of this written question, if you have written information to a newspaper, it's unquestionable the newspaper can send that to the government. We've seen this actually in the most famously in these telecommunications cases, where the federal government basically asked major providers of telephone service, AT&T, Verizon, Quest, to provide them with all the call records for all their customers, to let them sort through who people had called. And the post office? Yeah, that kind of information, maybe the post office or UPS, or I'm not completely sure, but certainly the phone records, that they're allowed to share those records without violating the law. Oh,
You have question?
I'll talk to you about it.
Great.
You have, brother?
Oh yeah, yeah, please.
My question might be a little naive. Basically, the question is this: police is law enforcement agency. Its job is to catch criminals. Same as the FBI. So they are, in a real sense, our friends. Why should we not cooperate with them maximum, and basically help them to catch criminals? Why should we live here in a state of paranoia? I mean, we pay taxes. our money is as kosher as anybody else's money. You know, the police and the FBI, they basically earn their income from, our taxpayer money. So why should we do that? I might have a follow-up question to that, to the answer to this.
I mean, if your question is,
I mean, it's logical that they are agency of the government, police. Their job is to catch criminals. The same as the FBI's job is to catch, and that's from. I'm a scientist, so I'm looking at it very objectively.
right?
That's their job. We should basically focus on the fact that they should do their job properly and honestly.
Sure.
As a scientist, I found out that 9/11 narrative is absolutely incorrect. You know, when anthrax scare was there, I was in hospital, and my gut sense told that, nobody, I wasn't go to mosque, that nobody has any kind of intention like that. So the thing is that, and we found out from the DNA of the anthrax that it came from the Ames lab in Iowa from the US Government Defense Department. So the fact is that we found that 9/11 is inside job. They have 2 planes hit and 3 buildings fell. We also found out that the manner of fall of the building, in such a short time, it didn't make any sense according to laws of physics, things like that. So the question that I have is, why should we basically live in fear? Why shouldn't we fix the system in a very simple, logical fashion? If FBI people come here, we should ask them, why can't they catch these terrorists like they are? Like the Dubai, the Iranian police, government, they put a terrorist by the name of Rigi. In 2 days, they put his video right on the internet without torture, without anything, so the whole world could see. Here, what we have is situation is that there is absolutely no clarity what's going on, who's the terrorist. It's like kind of vague, and so of course, when you don't have information, it leads to questions like this, conspiracies, and things like that. So, or for example, the Dubai police recently they caught there were some Mossad agents. They caught them, and they put the whole video investigation for the whole world to see. So that's how transparency should be there in the law enforcement agency as well as the FBI. That's how the whole thing should be done, and there is no need for us to live in any kind of paranoia or non-cooperation or anything like that. It should be transparent. We should live as any normal citizens in this country. That's really my question.
Right. Well,
Thank you.
I hope this will respond to your question. I mean, I certainly agree with you that the FBI and the local police are here to serve the communities, including this community, and they should be catching criminals. And it is.
But we should require them to operate in transparent fashion, and then they cannot harass anybody. That's where our focus ought to be.
No.
We have not, for the 8 years, we have not focused on that. We have basically focused on, how we could kind of protect ourselves. That's the kind of movement that we need.
No, I agree with that completely. And actually, one of the things that we've done is to file public records requests asking for information about the way that they could collect this information on these communities, hoping to bring that out into public view and to get that transparency if the agency is not willing to provide it. That's also part of what we've been doing, and in fact, Jenny's been doing that much more.
The reason I mentioned the Dubai police and Iranian videos is because the word competence. We should at least require in the United States our agencies to match the competence of third world countries that is considered third world countries. Iran, this is the first world country, so we should be at least as competent as in Iran.
It has